Hello, my name is Timothy Ma, and I'm a technical marketing engineer with Cisco Server Access and Virtualization Group. This video is part of a series that is intended to show some of the unique advantage made possible by Cisco Server offering called Unified Computing System, or UCS for short. This video will show the viewer the details of Cisco Virtual Machine Fabric Extender technology, or VM-FEX for short, with Red Hat KVM server, including step-by-step configuration. There are several existing server virtualization issues we like to address. From a network perspective, an administrator would like to have a network and security policy that is attached to the virtual machine as it moves. Unfortunately, in today's environment, virtualization only allows network and security policy to be attached to the physical server. Regardless of the time of the day, administrator will need to know what virtual machines are doing, and it is necessary to have a mobile policy attached to the virtual machine directly. The second issue with server virtualization is the virtual switch inside the hypervisor that switch packet between virtual machines. It is actually fairly difficult to see which virtual machine is actually talking to inside the server. Customers are demanding troubleshooting and debugging capability within the physical server. Lastly, nowadays, server admin manage the virtual switch, and they need to constantly communicate with their network administrator to configure the virtual switch. On one hand, server admin will want their network team to configure their virtual network. On the other hand, network admin are demanding network tool to configure the virtual switch, and they want the visibility down to the virtual machine. VM-FEX overcome this three server virtualization issue and accelerate your data center virtualization. What are the advantage and benefit VM-FEX bring into your data center? First of all, a simpler deployment. Unify the data center infrastructure for both physical and virtual network with consistent networking feature, security policy, and management interface. Secondly, VM-FEX with SRIOV enable near bare metal I/O performance for the virtual machine, with decreasing packet jitters, latency, and increasing virtual machine throughput and host CPU utilizations. Lastly, VM-FEX enable the programmability of the data center infrastructure with robust troubleshooting mechanism and the capability to traffic engineer virtual machine traffic. Before actual configuration, there are several infrastructure requirements for KVM VM-FEX. First, only the UCS managed server, including both B series and integrate C series, could be added into VM-FEX domain. UCS Manager 2.1 release and above is required, and there are two operation modes for KVM VM-FEX. Emulation mode with MacVTUP interface require Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 6.1 and above. MacVTUP interface provide the mechanism to connect a virtual machine tap interface directly to host physical interface. And KVM server leverage MacVTUP to direct attach virtual machine VNIC to the underlying host device. In bypass mode, which virtual machine traffic bypass the MacVTUP interface and directly place I/O on the physical adapter. bypass mode requires Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 6.3 and above, and it could achieve better I/O performance. Guest operating systems need to have the same Linux kernel as the host in order to enable SRIOV functionality. Currently, there's no integration with Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization Manager, and manual scripting is required to modify the virtual machine domain XML file. This slide highlights the configuration steps for KVM VM-FEX. We will start with UCSM firmware upgrade, service profile configuration, and move to ProProfile configuration. Then we will bring up the Red Hat Linux virtual machine and modify its domain XML file to enable VM-FEX. Lastly, we'll introduce the Virtual Machine Manager GUI interface and verify the VM-FEX configuration in UCS Manager. The first step in VM-FEX configuration is to upgrade the firmware version to UCSM 2.1 release. In this demo, we use Cisco B200M3 along with FIC 1240 adapter card as example to showcase the configuration process. Chassis 1 Server 1 will be our target Red Hat KVM server. The associated service profile is Red Hat-KVM-VM-FEX. And we are now moving to Server tab to see more details in service profile. With UCSM 2.1 release, a default SRIOV adapter policy is available for physical function, and the default Linux adapter policy is used for virtual function. Also, a default SRIOV BIOS policy is available for service profile. In this particular service profile, ETH0 is the static NIC with default SRIOV adapter policy. A dynamic policy called Red Hat KVM is created with default Linux adapter policy. Under VM tab in UCS Manager, Red Hat KVM only supports the default cluster that is generated by UCS Manager. Cluster ID is not required for KVM VM-FEX configuration, and two ProProfile are also pre-created in UCSM. Red Hat-MacVTab ProProfile will be used for the virtual machine which pass the traffic through MacVTab interface. And Red Hat Pass-Through ProProfile will be used for virtual machine that bypass the MacVTab interface and directly place I/O at hardware. For the next step, we will open the KVM Virtual Machine Manager located on the desktop and leverage the pre-created virtual machine for demonstration. UCS-ADV-MacVTab will be the target VM to configure VM-FEX emulated mode, and UCS-ADV-Pass-Through will be used for VM-FEX bypass mode. We will first showcase the process for VM-FEX emulated mode and move to VM-FEX bypass mode to conclude the demonstrations. To open the domain XML file for the target virtual machine, we use the following command: cd /etc/libvirt/QEMU. Use ls command to show the available virtual machine and select UCS ADV MACVTAB VM with the following command to open the domain XML file. First, virsh space edit space UCS ADV MACVTAB. Once the XML file is open, scroll down to the line interface type equal to network. And replace the keyword network with direct. We will preserve the MAC address provided by the server and delete the next line, source network equal to default. Then we will insert the following command line sequentially. Source def equal eth6. Mode equal pass through / which is used to attach VNIC to host interface eth6. Then we enter virtual port space type equal AO2.1 QBH. Then parameters profile ID equal red hat -MACVTAB / which is used to apply profile to virtual machine. Then / virtual port. Model type equal virtio /. And finally, driver name equal vhost. We will use the same address type line and save the domain XML file configuration. Return to KVM Virtual Machine Manager and power on UCS-ADV MACVTAB virtual machine. Once the virtual machine is running, switch to UCS Manager. Under VM tab, host blade 11 will show up, and the virtual machine is attached to Red Hat -MACVTAB profile. Now we are switching to VM-FEX bypass mode configuration. Use the following command to open the target domain XML file. First, edit UCS-ADV pass-through. Once the XML file is open, scroll down to the line interface type equal to network and replace the keyword network with host def managed equal to yes. We will preserve the MAC address provided by the server and modify the next line. Source network default to source. We will also modify the next line with domain equal 0 bus equal 0x00, slot equal 0x07, and function equal 0x07, which is to use to assign virtual function interface to the virtual machine. And then insert the following command line sequentially. /source virtual port type equal AO2.1 QBH. Parameter profile ID equal red hat dash pass-through /, which is used to apply the profile to virtual machine. And then finally /virtual ports. Save the domain XML file and return to KVM Virtual Machine Manager. Power on UCS-ADV-pass-through virtual machine. Once the virtual machine is running, switch to UCS Manager. Under VM tab, host blade will show up and another virtual machine will attach to red hat pass-through profile. To conclude this demonstration. To recap, managed virtual machine can be a challenge in many environments, and Cisco VM-FEX technology with Red Hat KVM server will significantly increase the efficiency for the server administrator. This ends this UCS Advantage video, where we show how unique capability in the Cisco UCS can link to a simplified deployment models with much faster service turnaround to meet the increasing demand of the business. Please go to www.cisco.com/go/UCS for printed collateral, including a brochure that highlights the information shown in this video. Thank you.